queuing up in the shadow of the local football stadium. Not for a game, for a race. A race to stay alive on an actual racetrack. This county is mainly black, low income and one of the worst hit by COVID in the region. Hence the urgency to get vaccine into as many arms as possible. In contrast to the UK, they're vaccinating law enforcement officers here today.
All right, deep breath for me.
Like Essence.
I work at the courthouse.
Ah, okay. All
yeah,
right.
so when they gave us a chance to get it, I jumped on it.
And just getting the vaccine, how does that make you feel personally?
Excited. Excited. It's more protection for me.
And a few tenths along, Corporal Torres. Officer, you've got just about every weapon imaginable slung around your waist, but the one that really matters today is the one you got in your arm, right?
Yes, it is.
How do you feel?
I feel great. Don't have no problem. I've been here about 10 minutes now, so no reactions. I'm good.
The process isn't fast. At least 5 minutes of jab prep plus 15 minutes to monitor the response. Getting enough personnel is one issue, hence the National Guard here. Their aim is to get 1,000 people vaccinated every day. They should get there by the weekend.
Ready.
The battle against COVID has defined Biden's successful run for the White House. He's trying to lead by example. But when he's president, he'll also need to deliver on a battle that will define his presidency. What do you think the federal government, the new federal government, should do to make life for you easier here on the front line?
Well, I hope that, there's some sort of assistance with these local jurisdictions in terms of, whether it's a supply chain or I know one of the things that we've struggled with here in Prince George's County is having enough personnel, right?
Right.
I mean, it's fantastic if we've got people who want the shot. We need to make sure that we have enough people to administer the vaccine.
In the American federal system, it's up to the states how they organize the vaccine rollout, and often federal guidelines clash with state ones. In California, the worst hit state, they may be using Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, to deliver jabs. But that's where happy ends. Back in Prince George's County, the biggest obstacle isn't even personnel or supply, it's hesitancy.
Historically, there's been a disparity in the delivery of health care among African Americans. And so people don't necessarily trust their government. So what we're telling our residents and our citizens is that it's not just taking the vaccine for yourself. It's taking the vaccine for those you go to church with, those you work with, your family members.
Yeah.
It's the community.
The war against COVID, one arm at a time. The only path to victory, here and everywhere else on the planet. Well, as you just heard, fake news on the vaccine is an issue in the United States, but also in the United Kingdom. But for a return to normality to have a fighting chance, the vast majority of people need to take that jab. And that means overcoming the dizzying array of misinformation out there, which is making some people too confused or too suspicious to agree to it. In the first of our new series, Fake World, Darshna Soni has been to one vaccination centre in Birmingham, which is reaching out to the local Muslim community in the hope of persuading them that it's all safe.
The heart of Birmingham's Balti Triangle. Its vibrant flavours usually attracts visitors from across the country. Today, only a handful of takeaways are left open.
Normally it's really busy.
What do you do?
Just a local restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, working in a restaurant. But obviously because of Corona.
The pandemic has meant Hassan Zaman hasn't had many shifts. He's heard the government promise that hope of a normal life lies with the vaccine. But like others here, he tells me he would refuse to take it.
I wouldn't take it because I feel like it's some sort of experiment, And I just feel like they're just playing around with people and I just don't trust it at all.
They're trying to save people's lives.
I know, but I feel like how quick can a vaccine come out that quick?
The reason they were so quick is because COVID was so dangerous. As soon as it came out, they all started working on it. Scientists from across the world. As quick as they can to try and come up with something.
I don't know about that,
Is it the scientists that you don't trust, or the government, or is
the
it
government?
Is it things that you've read on social media, or things that people have told you?
Social media, everything, all these theories and that are saying that they're playing around with us, they're doing this, they're doing that, and then that gets to your head.
Instead of reading social media, have you tried reading news websites?
Because I'm watching, viewing on social media so many negative things about it, I'm thinking, are they telling the truth?
Hassan isn't alone in his views, and public health officials are worried. They say anti-vaxxers online are targeting the South Asian communities with their messages.
As we've been filming here, several people have approached us and told us that they just don't trust what they're being told officially about the vaccine. And it's not just anti-vaxxers and people who believe in conspiracy theories. There are many here with concerns and questions which they feel just aren't being answered. Local GPs are so worried that they've started holding vaccination clinics specifically targeting South Asian communities.
Contrary to what you've heard on social media, the vaccine is halal. It doesn't contain any pork, it doesn't contain any meat products.
When Dr. Samara Afzal's surgery started ringing eligible patients to offer a vaccine appointment, they found that many of their Muslim patients were refusing it.
Thank you for reassuring us on that basis, and we're happy to have the vaccinations.
Jamil Ahmed has just been reassured that the vaccine is perfectly safe for his parents, Mohammed and Sarwar.
So we're finding a lot of South Asian patients aren't coming because they think the vaccine's not suitable for Muslims. They think it contains alcohol, but actually the Oxford vaccine contains a tiny amount of ethanol, which is to keep it stable, and it's a non-consumable form of alcohol anyway. So the majority of Muslim associations have said it's absolutely fine.
This vaccine is going to change your DNA.
This is just one of the online videos that Dr. Afzal says is targeting Muslims. But of course, they aren't the only community being targeted by the wider anti-vaxxer campaign.
There are some people who argue that we shouldn't be focusing on the South Asian community because anti-vaxxers exist amongst all communities.
Yeah, that's true, but we look at the figures. South Asians are much more likely to get the severe form of the infection, so that's why, it's important to target them.
Just relax your arm for me.
After their jabs, Mr. Ahmed's parents told me they felt just fine.
All done, thank you.
आपको कैसा लगता है?
All right.
ठीक है?
ठीक है.
We're living in the age of social media, so there's a lot of information out there. In my view, we have to rely on the professionals.
This week, the Prime Minister acknowledged that more needs to be done to target those from communities who are at greater risk from the disease, but who are reluctant to come forward for the vaccine. Darshna Soni, Channel 4 News, Birmingham.
Now, the former health secretary under President Barack Obama was Kathleen Sebelius. She knows all about the organisational and political challenges of public health care. She was involved in the rollout of Obamacare, for one. And she joins me now. Thank you very much for coming on the programme, Kathleen Sebelius. Tell me, when you hear these reports of fake news around the vaccine, how troubling is that for you?
Well, it's very troubling. Public health protocol, particularly dealing with a pandemic, is communication and direct and consistent communication strategy. We have not had that for almost 10 months. I think incoming President Biden will do everything he can to get everybody on the same page, to lead with the science, to reassure a bewildered American public about what's going on, but we've got a lot of work to do because we have had a lot of misinformation coming from the bully pulpit of the White House.
Now, President Biden will promise 100 million vaccines in the first 100 days of his office. Is that even realistic?
Well, I think that finally, Congress, the Senate particularly, which had been sitting on a bill with resources for states and local governments, passed a bill that in the last couple of weeks. That's helpful. Joe Biden tonight will outline another massive stimulus plan, which will include more resources. And states will be gearing up to respond to what will be finally a national plan. What's been missing all along is any kind of coherent plan from the national government. Donald Trump just basically told governors across this country, you're on your own, figure this out on your own. We're about to hear a very different message tonight. And I think governors will welcome that coordination. They will know exactly what they are supposed to do within their state, what the federal government will do, and they will finally have the resources to do it. So I think it is realistic. I think people are very eager to get in line and get the vaccine. But right now, I know in my own state, our governor has no idea how much vaccine she will receive, exactly when she will receive it. And that makes it pretty impossible for her to line up massive vaccination efforts.
That's really fascinating because at the moment, especially in this country, everything is political, including the political color of the various different states. How much does politics, even once Joe Biden takes over, interfere with the public health effort in this country?
Well, we have never seen politics play a role in public health responses until this year. And when Donald Trump as president began to directly contradict science, when he began to promote information that was not backed up by science, and when he began to install political figures to rewrite the public health guidance, which has always been relied on from the CDC, that all changed. So now we have a pretty broken system where each and every state has been told, make a plan, you're on your own, figure out your own strategies. Again, Joe Biden will make I think, a massive attempt to put back together one communication strategy backed up by science, one coordination plan, use the logistics of the federal government. But he's inheriting a total mess, and the likes of which we've never seen in this country, because Donald Trump so politicized public health information.
Okay, got to leave it there. Kathleen Sebelius, thank you very much indeed.